A variable provides us with named storage that our program can manipulate. Each variable in Java has a specific type, which determines the size and the layout of the variable's memory, the range of the values that can be stored within that memory, and of course the set of operations that can be applied to the variable. We must declare all variables before we can actually use them. Okay, so following a simple variable declaration, which that we have previously discussed. Okay, so you have your data type, variable name, then of course we have value. Okay, that's how we would initialize our variable. Now, for example, uh, we're going to use int for our data type. Then we have A, B, C. Okay, so these are our variables. So a value is not actually necessary, but when trying to define a variable. Okay, but we can also do something like int A is equals to 10, B is equals to 10. Okay, um, let's try to C, D, okay, and E. Okay, that's how you would initialize a variable if you wanted to put a value on it. Okay. Um, Now, there are several types of variables available in Java. The first one is local variable, then instance variable, then class or static variables. Okay, so let's first try to define what are local variables. So local variables are declared in methods, constructors, or blocks. Local variables are created when the method, constructor, or block is entered. Okay. Now, this is an example of a local variable. Okay. So, we have already here created a class called main. Okay, let's try to create another method. Okay, public. Um, so I'll call this one stud age. Okay, so int public void int age equals to 0. Age equals to age plus, I have to put it here, 18. Then system dot out dot print ln age is age. Okay, so that's how to define a local variable. So everything is actually within the method. Okay, so notice by the way that if I'm going to declare another variable here, okay, int age, whatever value is stored in this variable locally will not affect on the age variable on the other method. Okay, now let's try this time to run our application. So we have here main a is equals to new main. Okay, a dot stud age. Let's try to run. Click run. Try to build first. Okay, so you have age is 18. So that's how you would create a local variable. Now the other one is instance variable. Now instance variables are declared in a class but outside a method. So it's going to be declared on a class, but it's not going to be inside a method. So this is basically your local variable. Okay, so let's try to create this time our instance variable. Okay, let's first try to create a variable. Let's try to call this one as name. Public string stud name. Okay. Now, we will be assigning, let's try to create this one. Let's try to create a new, uh, okay, okay. We have it here, public string stud name. Okay. Or let's try to create another class so that it will be clearer. Okay, I'm going to create a new class, new Java class. I'm going to call this one as student. Yes, add. Okay. Now, instance variable, as what I've said, is a variable that is not um, actually declared inside that is not declared inside a method or any block. Okay, so it's actually declared in a class or outside or declared inside a class but outside a method. So let's try to put it here. Public string stud name. Okay. Then decide also to create our constructor public student string name. Okay. Then stud name is equals to name. Okay. Next is let's try to output this time. So public void print stud name. Your system that out println name goes here stud name. Okay. So basically what this will do is it will actually store whatever value we try to put on our student name constructor. Then we will be displaying it by calling this method. Okay, so let's try to call this one. Try to erase. We have your student stud is equals to new student. Okay, so for the name, so I to call this one again as Michael. Stud dot print stud name. Okay, let's try to see what the output is. To run. Okay, so we have here Michael. So whatever value we try to put on our variable name here will be displayed here. Okay, it will be displayed on this particular method. So that's actually how you would initialize an instance variable. Next is our static or class static variable. Now, class static variable, also known as or class variable, also known as static variables, are declared with the static keyword in a class, but outside a method. So it's actually declared static, okay, within a class but outside a method. Now, let's try to create another class. This time, let's try to call this one as teacher. Okay, let's try to add. Okay, so we already have three classes. We have our main, then we have our student, and we have our teacher. Okay, so for our teacher class, we have your private. So to call this one is public. Oh, let's have private static. So to call this one as salary. Since we'll be trying to compute for the salary of the teacher. Then public static final string department equals to So I to call this one as computer science. Okay. Now, going back here, okay, let's just try to put a comment. Teacher teach equals to new teacher. Okay. So we have your teach dot teach dot okay. Try to do this one here. Okay, since you already added it there. Try to go back here. Okay. So over here public static void. Or what we can basically do is let's just try to declare this one on our main function. Okay, so I'm going to delete this part. Okay, delete refactor, then save delete. Okay, delete anyway. Okay, so we don't need to create. We actually deleted the teacher class. We'll just try to call this one as a public static double salary, then public static final department. Okay, so we have here salary is equals to 1,000. Then okay, let's try to put system.out.println. Okay, department plus average salary is plus okay, salary. Okay, let's try to output. Okay, so we have your computer science and we have your average salary is 100. Now, you can actually try to initialize also, or you can actually use your public static variable on even on other classes, or even on not class but on other methods. Okay, so this one actually produced the result. Computer science average salary is this one 1,000. So that's how you would use the three types of variables in Java.